Due to my presentation recently of a new painting, Bridges and Bottles, I had a moment of reflection, dark reflection, for fear that the old jinx would come back and somebody would do something to Bridges. Now, I have made a point of saying that I believe the Orson Welles crowd behind the day there stood still in Hollywood is working with Tune and Waters on a project that I have posed to rock industry as American Pig, without clearing for with me how they're going about it or what they're doing or even acknowledging that I want no part of what they're doing. But I had a dream once of having a band. And things like this have happened before. I was literally thinking about the day there stood still when Wall Street crashed and John Stockwell of the CIA had shown up. It was my birthday. I was in town of Allentown. So rather than try to grapple with a desk officer receiving an email from me who might just market the company line that evidence of schizophrenia has shown up again in James Curry, I thought what I would do is just discuss the way that what I call the Swami Nostra operate. I understand that the deaf community has laughed at these thoughts, with the exception of Richard Rome, who fell dead in a Klieg light, a police car lighting, from what I'm told by his surviving familiars. And the deaf community ignored entirely my distress calls about being poisoned. And they've closed ranks behind the idea that a super cult of union people are looking out for what's best and to the Democratic Party and to the apparatus of statement for large groups of people, plebiscites who are concerned with health care and normalcy. My own motto is make America normal. But the background is complicated and it has led to my conclusion that Lenin pulled a Houdini. And since people don't go along with understanding the evidence of that, they automatically switch sides away from me. And so these things happen without any kind of review. But Martha Hardy Shines was running a group called Alternative Conflict Resolution at Carnegie Mellon University, and she said that their hobby was to collect revenge stories. She was laughing when she told me this stuff. And Bob Johnson told me about Antonio Negri. He was at Duquesne, whose work was used by an organization for destructive statements, and he got in trouble. He was arrested. And I call, this kid from the military who used to say I made him twist his ankle and stuff because I was a witch. It's hard to go into. I can see why people would brush it aside. But it's obviously a group of partners in a tag team in American military society who are There's a kid named Skidmark comes to mind because of the way the ship curved. He was in Seattle's crowd, the Stranger Dan Savage's crowd, who mongered the execution of Shannon Harps. You know, Skidmark, someone calling themselves Abu Lafia, and David Summerlin of Adobe. You know, in the postal union sent me a tube for my bagel knife, and I understood they wanted me to get rid of it. Next thing I know, this girl is stabbed to death outside. And David Summerlin said, "Don't tell my name. I'm Meat Weapon now. Me a weapon now." It's retarded fantasy these people mean well. And you're supposed to think, oh, wow, they're making a statement for the low and downtrodden. They're really not. It's a Slipknot system that got Houdini into the works. Do you actually believe that Trump cares about people who are in the margins of American society, laboring, for example, in homelessness? I kind of doubt that. But he hasn't worked out to make it sound like he's coming to their emotional rescue by playing the spirit of Lenin. If that's who it is who's doing this, that's who it seems to be. He went to the Alamo plaque while plaque was pouring out of my mouth from a dastardly poison crime. Because they're saying, stand with the victims, go down like Davy Crockett. Robert Kennedy seems to be in this wolf pack. And so what they do is rather than, I've said before, the state of Washington is like a people, a dog owner who assures you her pit bull's a sweetheart until it goes after either her or someone else. And you can't, and when I tell, like my concern about bridges and bottles, they're like, no, sweetheart, you're a sweetheart deal. There's nothing to it. There's a film called Hiroshima and Mon Amour. No, you saw nothing in Hiroshima. No, you did not see any Black Panthers and Queer Alliance calling itself the Green Party who want to blow up the Magic Mountain of Tacoma as a statement. They didn't build the Tacoma Dome there as a statement about the sacred mountain point towards Japan of Hiroshima Dome. Tacoma Dome has nothing to do with that. No, you saw nothing into Tacoma Dome. Guy flies an airplane, crashes it. Some schizo. Nobody attacked nobody with no battle axe square ball. But somebody did in Seattle, and that one I had no indication was inspired by my circumstances, but it's a part of it is to get it out of your system, get your yah-yahs out. Idea. They call it categorizing it. So, penis. Gabriel was saying, I'm the priest, I'm the doctor, I can handle the shocks. Nobody wants to look into it. They say it's a done deal, fourth dimensional psychology from the Houdini levers of Access Hollywood who care about us. Martin Sheen cares about Catholic worker people sleeping on couches. Arnold Schwarzenegger rides a bicycle. They care. I don't care for the mentality of it, and I saw its origins and roots at the University of Pittsburgh. I called them the Fern Hollow Bridge Gang. Their idea of the nature of reality, incompetence, is to neglect our infrastructure so that the bridges fall with buses full of people. And when you challenge them to a debate, they bring you to a keg party in a house in which the only item is a piranha fish tank. They care about that's Martin Sheen showing you how much he cares. They're actors. They can cry on cue. Nobody believes that they care. They're just plucking the strings of care. One or two of them who are deluded might care. I don't mean that it's delusional to care, but I mean they might actually believe that they're trying to be helpful. What's wrong with just leveling with people? I thought that's what we were supposed to do as journalists. It's not like you can't do anything. Jeffrey Sachs and Bobby Kennedy both have a grip on biowar labs. It's not like you can't organize government cooperation to put a clamp on this thing. It's not like you can't do that. Instead, they have rock stars giving people scabies and saying it's an experience park. It's not like you can't tell people you can only be allowed to work if you marry who you have children with and have sex with. You have to have a marriage license to fornicate with your spouse. It's not like they can't do that, say that, argue that, present that, but they don't mean it. That's a position they're taking militarily for effect. It's a special effect. And I'm just raising my concern that what was done in Baltimore was a special effect outgrowth of my painting bridges and bottles. I had admonitions about showing it off, but what else can I do? I mean, I don't know what Tony Negri said when they did. I mean, I remember passing that he said I had nothing to do with it. You know, which is true. I have nothing to do with it. The person who does have something to do with it, Ralph Karsh, was, if I'm not mistaken, working with a Negri who played guitar in the Pittsburgh Boondocks. Joe Negri or something. I don't remember. I'll look it up. Hold on a second. Yeah, yeah. Joe Negri, Ralph Karsh. They have to do with this stuff. It's Wario, Wario. And people like Gallaudet University, by refusing to admit what Richard Rahm did, in fact, admit before he died. He was trying to help me. He said the only explanation for this is that the people who are claiming to be defending the victims are the ones who perpetrated it. Flippy floppy, whoopie doo, what a perfect operation. Scooby Dooby Doo. It was perfect. I say this all the time now. It's not a question of what they were throwing at me and Richard Rahm. How can you believe that? So much as how could they resist? It worked so well for them.